Greetings, everyone. Greetings, everyone. This is Payman Lorenzo, your host, your friend, your coach. Today, we're kicking off something very exciting, the April class for the new 5-day challenge, completely revamped, relabeled. Everything's completely new. Some of you guys attended the challenge in the past. This is completely different because as I said to you before, as my knowledge expands, of course, I'm going to share that with you guys. And I want you guys to win. It used to be called the 5-day Profit Podcast Launch Challenge. Now it's called Invisible to Undeniable 5-day challenge. How to go from being overlooked and ignored to being the undeniable authority in your niche. And that's what we want because ultimately that's what we need. So, anyways, I'm excited. Let's get going. Let's rock and roll. Do you guys see my screen? Okay, perfect. Let me put this at the bottom. All right. So here's the big promise for what you guys are going to get over the next 5 days by the end of this challenge. So you will be discovering why, if you have one, whether you have a podcast or not, why you're not getting any clients and how to shift that from being seen, because as you will see, being seen and being visible is not enough. So you will see how to go from being seen but overlooked and ignored to being visible, being seen but overlooked and ignored, and visible but not chosen and paid, to becoming the obvious choice, the go-to expert, the one people trust. And one word, the keyword for me, one day I just woke up and I had this word in my mind's eye and I couldn't, and I've been seeing this word everywhere, and that word is undeniable. That's a word I love. That's going to be the word that everything's going to be based on around. So this is the premise for this, the promise. Yeah, it's going to be fun because it's no longer just about getting leads or getting clients, but it's about becoming the go-to person. So you can become referred, recognized, featured, endorsed, and ultimately chosen and paid. That's what we want. So why listen to me? Those of you who don't know me, I've done I've been able to help over 200 high-ticket clients with a tiny, small channel, YouTube channel. As of yesterday was 1,582, 81 subscribers. And as you guys will see, it's not about the numbers because we here on, you're gonna see why we will not play the numbers game because that's a losing proposition for most of us. And I've been blessed to build a successful podcast of 420 episodes launched. Some of you have already been on my podcast. If you haven't been on my podcast, let's change that. Book a time for next week, and I'd love to feature you guys on my podcast. And my podcast also blessed me to build a thriving global academy, 4-time number one international best-selling author, conference around the world, and I delivered a TED Talk a couple of years ago. Now working on my second TED Talk and all of that. But this is not about me. But most importantly, the most important thing here is that I've been exactly where you guys are, doing everything and still not getting anywhere. It's very frustrating uh, because again, I was doing everything I was told I was supposed to do. You know, creating content all the time, posting, all the good stuff, trying hard, pushing, doing everything that I was supposed to do, and yet cricket, nothing. But what was even more aggravating for me, more frustrating, and even almost heartbreaking was that I was seeing other people doing the same and succeeding, but me, it wasn't working for me. Is that something that you guys can relate, that you see people around you doing something, it works for them, but when you do it, say, what I'm missing? What's wrong with me? Yes, absolutely, Nicole. Yes. So because of that, I was in a very bad spot 6 years ago, uh, beyond broke, lost, depressed, almost homeless, suicidal, questioning everything, ready to give up, literally give up on life. So you know my story. And what saved me was my podcast, talking to incredible men and women from around the world, telling me people that have overcame a billion times more painful things than me. Hey, people that had lost it all, who went to jail, people that were diagnosed with terminal diseases, people becoming paraplegic, all of these incredible men and women telling me, hey, just because you're going through some temporary, keyword being temporary, financial challenge, that's not a reason for you to give up. You're not stupid. You're young. You can get back. And I owe my life to these incredible souls. So again, I've been there. I've been in a place that there were days I didn't want to get out of bed, crying myself to sleep at night. Raise your hand if you've been through a phase like that in your life. It's not a good place to be. So, but anyways, but at the same time, I remember thinking and asking myself, how are these people getting results and why I'm not? What I'm missing because I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to do, what I'm told. What is it that I'm missing? And I became obsessed with that. And what changed for me was launching my podcast, not the podcast itself. Yes, it did, because launching my podcast was probably the turning point in my life 6 years ago, 5 years ago. By that time, I didn't know it. But it changed me blessed me in ways I couldn't even express. It gave me amazing connections around the world. Now, whenever I travel to a place, say, who's in this location? And people just raise their hand and I meet them in person. It gave me opportunities beyond my wildest dream, as I just briefly expressed here. And beyond that, clients I get through that, they're not just a line in a spreadsheet. We become friends. We get on calls. We catch up. Hey, how's your mother? How's your wife? How's your son? How's your husband? How's your dog? Just like you would with a friend, with a relative. We become family. And this is what I love about that. It's the transformation. For me, the two greatest gifts of this business have been the transformation I've been able to bring to the life of these people, but also the beautiful friendships that I've built in the process along them, and that's really a beautiful blessing. But the truth for me was that it wasn't the podcast itself that changed everything. It was how I used it. Because again, it's not about visibility. That's something that's a recurring theme that you will see. Visibility alone is not enough. And today I'm going to show you the difference, how that works and how that makes sense. You guys ready? Okay, before I start, how many of you in here already have a podcast or YouTube channel? Raise your hand if you do, or put a one in the chat if you do. And in the chat, also put the name of your show. Cool. And before I continue, because we're a small group, which I like actually, let's get 30 seconds each of you guys just to introduce yourself. What do you do? Where you from? And why are you here? And what do you want to get out of this? Starting from left to right, starting with Carrie.
Okay. I have survived homelessness, the loss of a husband, a toxic career, and last year a cancer diagnosis. So
Wow.
now I'm a coach who helps people navigate the messy middle of life's hardest transitions so that they don't have to do it alone.
Wow, amazing. You've been blessed with quite a few incredible gifts.
Yes.
Thank you for being in Carrie. Arlene.
I'm Arlene Nelson. I'm from Edmonton. I am a quantum release coach. I do EFT. I work with independent women going into retirement, overcome their fears, and I'm just by talking to people more and more, it's just getting better and better.
Beautiful.
And I'm in the process of getting my podcast up and running now because I'm pretty
Yes.
much done school.
Good, good, good. Cheering for you, my friend. Awesome, awesome. Nicole.
Hi, I was a 33-year career woman for Department of Defense. I worked for the federal government as a contractor doing supply chain integration for 33 years. I fought tooth and nail to get where I was because I wasn't a man and I wasn't a vet. I left in October and I spent a lot of money on personal development, walked on fire, spent way too much money. And so I decided I wanted other people to have access to that. I didn't think it was fair that only I could take a week off work and spend $10,000 for a weekend, you know. So I started Enable to Rise, and I'm just trying to teach people how to break through a male culture and make the life that they want. So it's called a connection coach, and I do a 4-week mastermind called Unstoppable Connections. Thank you.
Love
Just
that.
just
Wow.
starting, just starting, just starting.
Hey, I love that. You have a beautiful gift, and I'm glad to hear. Thank you. Rachel.
Hello, I'm Rachel. I am a holistic farmer by trade in Victoria in Australia. I started a business a couple of years ago, taking farm waste and wonky produce and turning it into $5 meals for the community. In this space, I am going to start a podcast called Crumbs and Conversations, which is going to work a little bit in the food security space. And I'm going to cook while I'm talking, and I'm going to have people in the space with me. I would like to talk a lot about women's health in particular, because a lot of women like myself have had a really tough time going through perimenopause and endometriosis and have not been able to advocate for themselves. So it's sort of a space where I want women to feel like they can sit with us and have the conversation with us and almost learn how to advocate for themselves without being told what to do and being told to be skinny and how to lose weight. Because I think that there's so much in that space and it's a really heavy space, but it always comes down to weight loss. And I think that if we can
Yes.
advocate for ourselves and look after ourselves, then that's a really important conversation to have.
Absolutely. Love that. Love that. Wow. Thank you, mate. Just joking. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Awesome. Awesome. Rosemary.
Hello, everybody. I'm Rosemary Evangelista. I'm in St. Catharines, Ontario, which is about 15 minutes from Niagara Falls. And I've had the pleasure of being on Payman's 5-day challenges previously, and I learned so much from him. So I launched my own podcast called The Riva Experience, which is reflect, explore, visualize, and align. And it's for women and we have great conversations. Just using my experience, because I don't want other women to go through the rest of their lives feeling small and not being able to speak up. I'm in you know how they talk in business, first quarter, second quarter, third quarter? Well, I'm in the fourth quarter of my life. So it's time I spoke up, and that's why I stepped out of my comfort zone and I launched my podcast. So I am so happy to be here and meet all of you other wonderful, amazing women.
It's
And
always a
you
pleasure.
too, Lorenzo.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure having you with us, Rosemary. I love your passion, love what you're doing. And that fourth quarter of yours is going to be a big, productive, and very fun one. I hope you're ready. I'm sorry. I know you're ready. My bad. I know you're ready. That's a word. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. Who else? Let me see. Heather.
Heather did a comment and
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
she's welcome to unmute herself, but
Yeah.
she says she can't speak right now.
Okay. I see. So what she said here is, let me just read the
She
note.
says it's not active, but prosperity and possibilities. It'll
Yes.
come back when it comes up. I'm a speaker, so check her out on
Yeah.
Very Speaker. Yeah.
And she says she guides people to bring authentic and to being authentic, sorry, and live their best lives, not just by changing the filters they see life through. And my show was the first time I had publicly. Okay, yes, she's a fairy. Yeah, yeah. Yes, absolutely. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Well, we have a good crowd, and we're gonna achieve a lot of things together this week, and we're gonna help you get the clarity and by the end of it, so you go from being, as I said, overlooked and ignored to being the undeniable authority. Who's ready to be undeniable here? Absolutely, absolutely. Because it's all about, again, it's not about visibility, because visibility doesn't pay the bills. Even likes, subscribers, that doesn't pay the bills. You know what pays the bills and gives you the freedom? Is being endorsed, being introduced, featured, and ultimately chosen and paid. That's what it's about. All right, let me see the chat before we move on. I'm a certified philologist. Oh, wow. Anything you're
Yeah, I was just telling Heather that
Yeah.
I know I'm something woo-woo, I just don't know what yet. And so she's telling me she might be able to help me figure that out. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was so 3D. I was so military, machismo, male, masculine for my entire life. When I left in October, I just started like doing anything and everything. I got into crystals, I got into
Good.
Reiki, anything 3D I ran from, and I ran to anything that was opposite of that.
That's what it's all about. You know, when you mentioned the word hoo-hoo, something came in my mind. And that could be a slogan from one of you guys. Take it while it's still available. From woohoo to aha. Whatever. That sounds a bit silly, but you know what I mean? From woohoo to whatever. Fill in the blanks. That could be an amazing slogan for you guys. And brand it. Take it while it's still available. Anyways, jokes aside. All right, let's move on. So I'm going to share with you guys, and so you guys already know that, why 95% of us stay stuck. Because again, we've all been told the same thing. Start a podcast, start a channel, be consistent, put yourself out there, share your message, show up, host events, nurture relationships, post 25,000 times across all social media platforms, find out what's the latest, most trending, dance on TikTok, and the same with your spin, with your personality, your personal sauce. And again, it's not working. Or it can work, but not the way that you've been shown, because again, most people are doing it wrong. And as a result of that, paying the price. I've been there. I'm sure you've been there too. And yeah, and that's what we're going to be changing. So how many of you in here have been doing that up to now, following the so-called script, putting yourself out there, creating nonstop, endless content everywhere, even going as far as putting stickers on your car, flags in your backyard, a T-shirt, a shirt, a hat with your website or with your channel. You know, I've seen people like that. I was considering it that. How many of you have gone to those links? Raise your hand. Nope, nobody. Okay. I'm
I'm hot and cold, Lorenzo. I'll go in and I'll do, and then I'll get nothing and I just do something else.
all right. Okay. And again, we all been there, but again, it's not working. Crickets, no clients, no momentum, no real results. Meanwhile, and that's the most aggravating part, that was the most frustrating for me, and even riling me up the most, and I'm sure you guys can relate with that. Other people, less experienced, less qualified, less talented than you, getting the results, winning, being featured everywhere. Raise your hand if you've seen that, if you've lived that, you've experienced that. Oh yes, oh yes. And then when you experience that, how does it make you feel? Like crap. Exactly. Like, what I'm missing? What's wrong with me? It really even affects your self-worth, your self-esteem. You say, what I'm missing? You know, in cartoons, you have a black cloud hovering over the character, and it's raining just on that person. That was me when I was at the lowest, because I was actually teaching that other people would get success, but me, no. And that's what really, in a way, kept me down this very negative and almost destructive spiral. But thankfully, I was able to get out of it. So the answer to that, why it's not working, is this. And again, it's not because you're crazy, and also most importantly, because you know you can help people, and more importantly, you know you can help not just people, but your people. Because our goal is not to help everyone. Our goal here is to help your people. For example, for your Rosemary's to find your Rosemary's, Arlene your Arlene's, Nicole your Nicole's, Rachel your Rachel's, Carrie your Carrie's, Heather your Aries, me my payments, and so on and so forth. Because that's a person we can help the most. One of the greatest breakthrough for me was to realize that your avatar is not some fictional character, because I could never relate with that. The person you can help the most is a person that is a version of you that just a few steps behind you, because you're that person, you live that, you experience that on a daily basis, you understand that better than anyone. So that's why I mean, your goal is to help, to identify, find, and help your people. And because of that, if you haven't been able to get any results, any momentum so far, it's not because of you. It's because your skills are real. Your experience is real. We all have been blessed with phenomenal gifts, experiences. One of my favorite saying, as you guys know, is your crap is your gold. Or in a more PC way, your mess is your measure. Actually, I'm going to put that on a t-shirt. Your crap is your gold. Because nothing happens to you, but for you. If you were to look at your life, especially the more heartbreaking phase of your life, and that's something we're going to dive deeper on tomorrow, these are your greatest gift. And the last academy, I had a lady that wanted to be helping handicapped women. But then as I got to get to know her deeper, she said that the thing that really destroyed her was her losing her daughter at the age of 7 in a car accident. So guess what? That's your gift. Helping other, not parents, overcoming the grief of losing a child. Yes, it was painful because she had to relive it, but after that, she went from crying of tears of pain to tears of relief, of joy. Wow, that's my gift. I can't tell you guys how many times I've had people on my podcast over the last few years telling me, sharing things that they were ashamed of sharing. And whatever chapter of your life that you're ashamed of, guess what? That is your gift. And that's something we're going to do an exercise on that tomorrow. The point is, nothing happened to you, but for you. So because of that, your experiences are incredibly invaluable. The reason why so far it hasn't been working is because you've been given the wrong strategy. And when you play the wrong strategy in the wrong game, guess what? You're going to lose. You're not going to win. Does that make sense? Now, here's advice again that keeps all of us stuck is just keep posting, keep putting yourself out there, be consistent, grow your audience. That's a big one. Put in the time, create content nonstop, endlessly, so you can build an audience and then go viral. I will share one quick example with you guys. Last year, I was doing a talk at a conference here in Vietnam. The guy before me, he was talking about how to make money on YouTube, the traditional way. So he had started his channel back in 2019, typical vlogger, documenting his journey on life. Now he lives in Thailand from Austin, Texas. And he proudly shared his earnings from the month of February of last year, a grand total of $946. And when people asked him, so how long it took you to build this? He said 6 years, since 2019. So how many of you in here are patient enough to wait to build something for 6 years just to make less than $1,000 a year? Exactly. Sorry, $1,000 a month, not a year. So again, that's a traditional way. And that's why we're not going to play that game. That's a wrong game, the wrong strategy. Again, it's not about the numbers. It's not about visibility, but it's about connections. And that's going to be, again. And when you do that, keep playing the wrong game with the wrong strategy, it's not doing good, right? How's that working for you guys? Because if it actually worked, you'd be swimming in clients and not here. Am I right or right? Cool, makes sense. All right. And again, here's the truth that most of us, including myself, that I used to miss, and that is, I know you guys know people with a lot of followers, years of content, endlessly posting, and still struggling. Barely any clients. If you get any clients, it's completely a fluke. It's a big effect. So clearly, this approach is not a consistency problem. And the traditional way to make money with YouTube, it works only for 3 types of people. If you already are a celebrity, if you have a massive existing audience, or if you are a world-class, renowned expert with multiple PhDs after your name. I don't know about you, but I'm none of that. Raise your hand if you are one of those. Nope. So if you are one of those, then absolutely. Just look at, for example, silly example, the Kardashians. They just, even if they were to launch just a little item, they would print money with it because people know them. And that's why for these type of people, it works. But for us, no. And that's a better way. And that's what we're going to be looking at. So again, and I'm sure you've seen that before, I want you to think of someone that you know that posts, that does all the right things, posting all the time, creating content, putting themselves out there, hosting events, attending events for months and years, and still not getting anywhere. Do you know anyone like that? Maybe even intimately? Because that was me up to not long ago. Raise your hand if you can relate with that, if you can identify with that. I used to be that. And that's why this approach is completely, again, for people who are not celebrities with massive audiences or world-class renowned experts, it's going to be a tough battle, even a losing proposition. So what it really boils down to is this: a profitable podcast, whether you already have one or not yet. And when I say podcast, guys, I mean both podcasts and YouTube. But for sake of saving time, I just say podcast. It all boils down to these, the 3 C's. Clarity, 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 clarity. That's the most important thing. Who you can help with what problem, and we go even deeper, not just a problem, but one specific problem. The more specific, the better. And then, once you have that clarity, you're having conversations with these people. And then turning those conversations, those connections, content into connection. Because again, it doesn't matter what business you're in, we're all in the same business. We're all in the trust business. If you're selling anything high ticket over $1,000, it's about one thing and one thing only: trust. So, and the best way to build that trust is simply to, one, clarity. What is the one specific pain point you can solve and for who? Then identify those people and have conversation with them. I'm going to share that in a moment. And then those conversations lead to connections. And those connections, those conversations, become conversions, become clients. That's how you get clients, not by just being everywhere. Make sense? There's a couple of more steps to that. I'll cover that later tomorrow and the rest of the week. But these are the big ones: clarity, conversations, and conversion. If you miss any of those one elements, the entire house of cards falls apart.
That's a quick question.
Yeah.
A lot of the things that we do, it appears it could be across the panel, right? Midlife, holistic farming. So since you're saying be clear, solve one problem, should we focus on one problem and then expand? Because like me connecting with making it in a man's world could be anywhere. That could be in car sales. It could be in medical industry. So do you just pick one? I'm a little confused on that.
That's a great question. I'm going to cover that in a moment later. But to answer your question, yes. Yes, we need to identify that one thing that you can solve and help at the highest level. We all have that. I call it your zone of genius. I'm going to expand on that in a moment. But what we are going to be doing is to identify the starting point so you can help someone at the highest level with one specific pain point. But guess what? Once you help them with pain point number 1, it's going to be infinitely easier for you to help them with pain point number 2, number 3, number 4, because you've shown them that you can help them. You've displayed your expertise, build your trust, and so on and so forth. Make sense? Did I just freeze? Okay, good.
No, you're good. I just try not to monopolize. Thank you.
Okay. No, absolutely. No, that's fine. Okay. So again, what we really need in here is, again, you don't need more content. Actually, I will make a confession. I have not created any content, and I'm a YouTuber. My content is literally interviewing my prospects, because we want to be strategic, not random people. Because again, we are all in a trust business. What's the best way to build trust? By building rapport. How do you build rapport? By having heart-to-heart conversations on a podcast. So again, hello, Elaine. Thank you for joining us. How are your horses?
On another call. Oh, that's miserable. It's all wet here today.
No worries. All right. So as I said, you don't need more content and you don't need more followers, because again, it's not about the numbers. That's not a game we want to play. We're not on the vanity metrics. I'm going to show that in a moment. What you need is a client acquisition system that turns attention into conversations. And then those conversations naturally, automatically, organically, seamlessly become clients. Does it make sense? Because again, doesn't matter what business you're in at the end of the day, as long as you're selling anything over $1,000, pounds or euros, we all in the same business, trust business. Even if you're selling, say, e-commerce products, like say this cup, the first thing you will do is to read the review. That's how we build, trust. Same thing here. So when you do that, here's what really happens. If you lack clarity, and that's the number one mistake most entrepreneurs, authors, coaches, speakers make, is that they want to help everyone with all of issues. And when you do that, you're not helping nobody. Nobody hears you. No one hears you because your message is too broad, too vague, and the worst, too safe. The last thing you want to do is to be PC or vanilla. One of the things I always tell my students is, do not try to be the robotic corporate drone. That's the last thing people want. Let your personality shine. If you have a sense of humor, shine it. If you use the F word, do it. You guys heard of Gary Vee, a billionaire. Every 3 words is the F word. That's how, but his people love it because they can relate with them. So please, I'm not saying go and curse. What I'm saying is embrace your personality, show your sense of humor, because the more you're real, the more you're authentic, the more your message is going to go not just over the head, but straight to the heart and soul. Does that make sense? Because if your message is too broad, too vague, too safe, and you want to help everyone, guess what? When your ideal client sees your message, you know what's going to happen? They're just going to scroll past it. That's not for me. Because they cannot see themselves in you. They cannot identify, relate, resonate with you in your message. Raise your hand if you identify with that, if you've experienced that before, because you were too vague, too broad, too safe, too PC, too vanilla. Absolutely. If I could, I would raise my feet too, That's what I'm saying. Let your personality shine, no matter how silly it is. Because again, your message is not meant for the world, and that's perfectly fine. Your message is meant for your world. Each of us, the goal is to find, for example, for you, Elaine, to find your Elaine. Carrie, your Carries. Rachel, your Rachels. Nicole, your Nicoles. Arlene, your Arlenes. Me, my payments, and so on and so forth. Heather, your others. Rosemary, your Rosemaries. And if I miss anyone, you know the drill. Same thing. Because at the end of the day, you want to speak to that one person, the version of you just a few steps ago. Because when someone is looking to invest a few $1,000s and a coach and a mentor and a guide and a big brother, big sister, or my favorite word, an activator, what they're looking for is not a disconnected billionaire. What they're looking for is someone they can relate with, identify with, resonate with, someone that just recently overcame what they're currently going through. That's what people want. They want a big brother, big sister, say, hold my hand, I'll be in your shoes, and together, step by step, day by day, bite by bite, we can get you out of there. Does that make sense? Awesome. So let's do something fun here. Is your message like this? I help people transform their lives. I help you step into your power. I help you grow your business. I help you become fit. I help you become successful. Again, we're not here to make fun of anyone because I was like this not long ago. And earlier when I listened to your short intro, it was on purpose because I wanted to see. Today, we're gonna change that, but we all need to have a starting point. And if your messaging is like this, but don't get me wrong, this is not because most people, we have a good heart. We come from a good intentions. And that's why we will say, I want to help people transform their lives or help you step into your power or help you grow your business or live your best life. But what does that mean? or become financially independent. For one person, financial independent can mean an extra $500. For another, can mean $500,000. So it's very subjective, depends from person to person. So that's why you need to really know your audience. In this case, there's no guesswork. Your audience is just the version of you just a few steps ago. That for me was one of the greatest breakthroughs. When I understood that, that's when my business and my life changed. Build your business, build your offer, build your podcast, YouTube, whatever you do, the way you wished existed when you were started. Build it for yourself. And that's not being selfish, that's being altruistic, because that's a version, that's a person you understand the best, the most intimate, because you were that person long ago. Does that make sense? This for me was a game changer, guys. You want to speak to the version of you of just a few steps ago. What did you wish was there? Who did you wish was there? And say, hold my hand, I've been in your shoes. Together we can get you out of. That's what people want. And that's what I want you to become obsessed with. Become obsessed with helping the version of you of just a few steps ago. Because that's your goal. You lived it. You don't need to spend years learning that. All you do is simply share your story, speaking from the heart. And when you do that, guess what? You're displaying your expertise. That's what people want. And embrace your personality, your sense of humor. Of course, within reason. Jokes aside. Anyways, because if your message is like this, too vague, too broad, too safe, what's going to happen is that it might sound nice, but it doesn't do anything. It doesn't create urgency. And most importantly, it's not going to trigger the person that you're targeting to take action. Make sense? Awesome. So again, when your message is too broad, your ideal client, when he or she hears your message, they'll ask themselves, is this for me? And if it's not clear, nope. I saw a quote the other day that said, if you cannot describe in one short, sweet sentence what you do, if you prospect your clients, if you cannot say what you do in a clear way, your people cannot pay you because they don't even know what you do. So, and when that happens, guess what happens? They move on because you don't have clarity. No clarity is going to lead to no connection, no conversation. Because one thing I always say, if me and you, we don't connect, man to woman, woman to woman, woman to man, we're not going to talk, let alone do business with. But once we do, it opens the doors, opportunities, wallets, and everything else in between. See what I mean? So again, clarity is the name of the game. Because when you do have that clarity, the more clarity you have, the more magnetic your message is going to be, the more compelling your offer is going to be, the more transformational what you do is going to be, and ultimately, the more profitable it's going to be for you. And if you, again, no clarity, no connection, no conversation, no clients, and no clients, guess what? No business. You might as well go and flip some burgers at whatever you can find a job these days. So let's fix this right now. Who wants to fix that? Raise your hand. Wait, let me go back one slide. Okay, raise your hand. If I could, I would raise my feet without. Anyways. So here's the framework. I help one specific person who struggles with one specific pain point to achieve a specific result without a known frustration. So here's an example from me. I'm going to share with you guys as to inspire you so you can build your sentence that way. I help authors, coaches, and speakers on getting clients turn conversations into high-ticket clients without relying on social media algorithms. So instead of chasing views, we focus on conversations that convert. So if you were to ask me payment, so what do you do? When I answer that, is that clear in your mind? So you want to be able to describe what you do in such a way that the person, the only question in their mind is, oh, wow, that's amazing. Tell me more. Can you help me? Or in their mind, that's exactly what I've been looking for, as opposed to what? What is that? What do you mean? How do you do that? And so on and so forth. Does that make sense, guys? All right, so let's do that. So let's take a few, again, what we're doing here, again, we're going to create the first, this is keyword, that's why I put it in big bold letters, the first version of your message. Because what we do is to find a starting point. I know it, and it's okay, it's not going to be perfect, but powerful enough to start shifting things. It's going to be a work in progress. Even mine still has a lot of room for improvements. So again, we're doing this so you can see exactly where things are off. We need to be able to identify what is a problem so we can fix it. So create a few moments here, take a few moments, 60 seconds, jot down, share it in the chat, and I'll create a WhatsApp group after this call. And tonight, tomorrow, feel free to share yours also on the WhatsApp. Again, this is going to be the first version, and tomorrow and the rest of the week, we're going to dive deeper, deeper, and deeper. So by the end of the week, you will have a clear, laser-focused statement. And it's okay if it still feels incomplete. Because again, what we're doing here is to find the first version of your statement. So let me go back to the structure. Oh, wow, the third one, huh? Okay. Oh, Irene, sorry, Arlene, I like that. I wonder where you get that. That's an amazing structure. Feel like we're back in school, huh? Everybody's working. Are you guys done?
Yeah, but I'm not sure about the last line. I was trying to be cheeky.
Hey, listen, it's okay. And it's actually, I want you to be unperfect, to be unperfectly perfect. If you're perfect, you don't belong here. I don't want you. Because I can't help you. No, I'm joking. Let's see. So Arlene, I help independent women. What do you mean by independent women? And again, we're gonna, dissect that later on. Independent women build self-trust in as little as 60 days. Again, what does self-trust mean? Be more specific, because self-trust can mean a different thing for you and a different for me. And for every person, it's gonna be different. Again, and that's perfect. I love that. Thank you. This is to create the first version, the starting point. It's gonna be incomplete. It's okay. The more incomplete, the better. Nicole, I help female executives who struggle with moving up in a male-dominated industry without compromising their morals. Yes, yes, yes. Here's the thing that I would like all of you guys to add at the end. See that last line at the end of the half? So instead of chasing views, we focus on conversations that matter. So find what makes sense for you. Plug in your information for you. That's an extra line to help you move a bit faster to win faster. To add that extra little bit of, it's going to make the person, wow, that's amazing. More intrigue. You know what I mean? But in a good way, intrigue, not in a manipulative way. Everybody done with their statement? Elaine? Rachel, Carrie? How about you, Carrie? How are you doing so far?
I need to sit with this a little bit longer.
Yes, absolutely. And again, this is the first version. If it's imperfect, that's perfect. I actually encourage you to be imperfect. Do not wait to be perfect, because you're going to be waiting until, as we say, the cows come home, as we say back in France, when pigs will fly, So anyways, let's move on. So here's another thing that I really want to share with you guys, and that is the biggest trap that most people fall into, and that is the vanity metrics. Have you guys heard of that? The vanity metrics. Oh, it's all about subscribers, views, downloads. You need to have a gazillion number of subscribers and views, which yes, technically it's true. For me, as I shared in my talk the other day, if I were to rely on the typical earnings from YouTube, I wouldn't even be able to afford a cup of coffee a month after 5 years. Because my videos, I'm lucky if they get more than 50 views. And you know what? To me, it doesn't matter because I don't play that game. The game I play is to, again, remember what I said a few slides ago? Clarity, connections, conversations to clients. That's what I do. That's my process. And that's a process that I want you guys to shift towards because that's a winning one. So again, followers, likes, views, downloads, they look good. Yes, absolutely, definitely. I'm not going to deny that. But it doesn't pay you. Can you deposit likes into your bank account? Well, unless you're getting, like, say, a few millions, then maybe, and ads and all that. You know? And then, as I said in a cheeky way, try paying your bills with likes. And if you do, please let us know all, okay? You become a billionaire in 2 days. It doesn't work, guys. So again, the old model of build an audience, monetize it, it may sound logical, and it works only for the people who already have that foundation, who are a celebrity with a massive existing audience, or world-class renowned experts already. For these people, absolutely. But most of us, we're not that. And that approach is going to be slow, unpredictable, and very hard to work. And most of us, if we were to play that game, it's going to take a long time. I just shared the example of that guy that I saw at the conference. It took him 6 years just to get to less than $946, something like that. Not a game I want to play. So raise your hand if you've already tried and played that model, that game before. Yes, the traditional way. Okay. Yeah. And of course, any results so far? Yeah. Now, do you want to change that, guys? Raise your hand if you want to change that. Absolutely. Cool. So the game, again, just to summarize, there's 2 ways to play the podcast or YouTube game. The traditional way, which is making money on YouTube versus with YouTube. We don't want to play the on YouTube because that's the one that's going to take you a long time. Well, the game that we want to play in is with YouTube. Because again, clarity, conversations, offers, clients, in that order. One specific pain point, one person. Essentially, we're going to be talking about what is your zone of genius. That's going to tell you what is that one specific pain point you can solve and for who, and where is that person hanging out the most. And you simply put yourself in front of them, invite those people, interview those people on your podcast in a very simplified way. And when you do that, that's when things change. That's what allowed me to get myself out of that hole to being where I am now. And that approach, you don't need to have any audience. What you need is to have clarity, proper positioning. I'm going to spend an entire day on that because that's one of the most crucial part of this entire process, to have proper positioning, to be positioned as a trusted expert, as a leading voice in your niche, being introduced, being featured, being endorsed. That's the fastest shortcut to winning. We're going to spend an entire day or 2 just on that alone. And again, when you play the game the right way with YouTube, with podcasting, you can literally monetize your business from day one. Because again, it's all about the numbers, it's about clarity. What's the pain point you're solving, for who? And you're simply reaching out to those people, inviting them. And when you do that, you do not need a big audience. You do not need the viral content. And you don't need thousands of followers. What you do need is this: clarity, first and foremost. That clarity is going to allow you to have the right message for the right people with the right strategy. And that's how you win. That's how you start being seen and start being chosen and paid. And again, here's a big one. You don't need more people. What you do need is the right people hearing you and seeing your message. And these are people that have the problem that you can solve. And these people want the solution that you offer, and they are ready to act on your offer. That's where clients come from. Very logical. And when you do it that way, it's definitely not about the numbers. It's about the connections, conversations, clarity, positioning. Does that make sense, guys? Good. I see some heads nodding. Okay, perfect. So when we do it that way, imagine this. Instead of you chasing, clients are reaching out to you. Hey, I just heard you on this podcast. I just saw you there. I've been looking for someone like you. This is exactly what I need. And that's a very powerful place to be because you're no longer chasing. You don't have to convince. None of that. It's just pure alignment. Have you guys ever had a taste of that in your business? Pure alignment, where things magically fall into place? Raise your hand if you've been blessed to have a taste of that. It's magical. Yes, 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 yes. Beautiful. So again, this is not luck. This is not random. And this is not about the lack of talent. And this is not just for big creators with massive lists. No. This is a proper, replicable winning system. And once you understand and implement that, which is what we're going to be doing this entire week, everything changes. Let me check with the chat. Thank you, Rosemary. See you tomorrow. Thank you. All right. And again, on the other end, if you keep doing the same old things, nothing changes. 6 months, 12 months down the road, you still be posting, still trying, still hoping, still wondering, where is the next client going to come from? Why is it not working? And you know what's the real cost in that? It's not the money. It's the time. You know, you can always make more money, but time, no. Time is one of the most valuable assets we have. So as we're approaching the end of today, what we covered today is this, very simple. Why most people stay stuck is because they want to play, they don't have clarity, they want to play the traditional game with vanity metrics. Visibility is definitely not enough. You can be in front of massive audiences, but if you don't have clarity, you're not positioned properly, and you don't have exactly the offer that they want, you're not going to convert. Simple as that. And it's not about having a big audience, because me, still after 5 years, my audience is still tiny. And I've done 0 social media, 0 ads, and 100% of my clients come from either my podcast or referrals from existing clients. And it's all about having and implementing the right strategy. So today we introduced the notion of your statement. I want you guys to look at your statement and take a look at it, because tomorrow we're going to dive deeper into this. This is where things are going to get deep tomorrow. And this is where you're going to be changing everything. So if you're serious about changing this, then don't miss tomorrow, because tomorrow we're going to really dive even deeper into your statement, your zone of genius and all that. So here's my question for you. If something clicked today, if you saw yourself in this and you're starting to realize, wow, this is what I've been missing, I want you to drop clarity in the chat. We're not done yet. Just don't go anywhere. Okay, let me check. Chat, yes. Rachel, yes. Carrie, Arlene, yes, yes, yes. Okay. What about you, Elaine? I'm joking. Just-
Yeah, I spelled it wrong.
No worries, no worries. So here's a sneak peek into tomorrow. So again, we're going to go deeper into that. We're going to really go in and identify your zone of genius. We're going to be working on your messaging and statement. And ultimately, the one thing that makes your people say when they see your message, say, wow, I need this. I need you. Where have you been all my life? Thank you, God. You've answered my prayers. So well done, guys. Thank you for being here. Done for today. But before you leave, I'm going to leave you with two powerful questions. This is for you. And I want you to answer these questions as sincerely with yourself as you can. How clear am I really on what I help, the exact pain I solve, and how I help them? In one powerful sentence. I want you to look at your sentence and answer that question. And the next question is this. If I'm honest, would my ideal client immediately feel seen and say, wow, that's exactly what I need? These are the questions I'm going to leave you with. And I'm going to connect startup WhatsApp group right away. I'm going to add you guys. So if I don't have your WhatsApp, please send it to me. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Same time, same place, same link. And any questions, feel free to post them in the WhatsApp group. I'm going to be sharing, posting the replay and the slides every day after the call on the WhatsApp group. So that's what we're going to be living for the next week or so. Clarity, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm glad it helps you, Lorna. Okay, and thank you. You're very welcome, Carrie. So yeah, we're only getting starting our journey. But the one thing also I want to tell you guys is it's perfectly okay if your starting message, because what we're here is to craft the first version of your message. If it's imperfect, it's perfect. It's perfectly perfect to be imperfect. Because that means that there's only one way we can go, going up. So work on your statement, because tomorrow we're going to really go even deep into that. Any questions, guys, before we call it a day at night? Arlene, any questions, comments, compliments on the shiny hair?
No, I just need to listen to the recording since I missed half of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll post it there. Carrie, any questions?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
You're welcome. Rachel, any questions?
I'm good for now. I just need to go back and have a look at my sentences and what I'm going to do with that and focus on my best direction.
Absolutely. Has that been helpful for you guys today?
Yes, definitely.
Good. And guess
Definitely.
what? Good. We're only getting started. We're going to go deeper and deeper each day. And each day builds upon the previous day. So it's like building a house. So I want you guys to be here every day, because every day is going to be important. So listen, thank you for your time. Thank you for your trust. And I wish you a beautiful rest of your day, evening. Have a fantabulous rest of your day, evening, and see you guys tomorrow.
See ya. Thank
Take care.
you.
See you,
Bye-bye.
buddy. Bye.